someone else made for me or that I bought, alone, just for me. The scones in the coffee shop window and the tub of cherries at the farmer's market, the glass casserole dish of stewed lentils my friend Christine brought me when I had the flu. Even the drive-through hot cocoa, sipped in the front seat as Sammy slept in the back, fed more than my thirst. It fed my need for care and indulgence, my comfort and sweetness when I felt so alone. When it was all over, when we were without restriction and could eat anywhere and anything we wanted, I still came back to my kitchen. There was something about the process, from raw ingredients and Googled recipes to finished product, that did more than just feed Sammy and me. It satisfied me in a way that nothing else could, the expertise I'd nurtured giving birth to joy. A blueberry muffin recipe, honed and curated, came from the contributions of farmers and chefs and cookbook authors and my friends. The patience to try and try again, to believe it would be delicious someday, came from a wellspring that seemed somehow to have no end. On this journey to becoming nourished, what I discovered about cooking and feeding the people I love has changed everything. 1. Hot chocolate, frozen in place. When my second daughter, Sammy, was born, I could barely cook. 7 years before, when my husband David and I had first moved in together after our wedding, I'd called my mother on the phone, horrified by the prospect of making dinner every night. "How do you do this?" I'd groaned, staring at the one cookbook someone had given me as a wedding gift. "Well, what did you eat before you got married?" she asked me. I was embarrassed to tell her about my single-woman eating habits. Some nights, I stopped at the White Hen Pantry and bought a pound-sized tub of tapioca pudding, which I ate in noisy slurps in front of the TV. If I felt guilty about not eating vegetables for several days, I'd make couscous and then dump in a can of mixed vegetables along with some butter and a big handful of powdered Parmesan cheese. Most nights, though, I just melted cheddar cheese on some tortilla chips and called it a night. Of course, David didn't actually care if I cooked dinner every night, but I felt like this was the next logical step on my path to becoming an adult. My mother had always made dinner, and so had his. I absorbed the matriarchal duty on my own. Someday, I reasoned, there would be children to feed, and I'd witness David trying to bake a potato in the oven during the course of many hours with minimal success. Partially due to gender norms and partially due to feeling, at least marginally, the most qualified of the two of us, I subscribed to Vegetarian Times magazine and started clipping recipes into a small black plastic binder. It was slow going, but eventually I could make a few simple meals whenever we didn't lazily wander down to the Le Sabre diner for greasy egg and cheese sandwiches on English muffins for $2.50 apiece. When our first daughter, Ronnie, was born, though, I got more serious. My mom taught me to make my own baby food with an immersion blender, and when I was whizzing up broccoli or pears or green beans for her, I saved some of the non-whizzed vegetables for us, finding new ways to use them. Ronnie was a voracious eater, excited about everything, earning herself the nickname Owl Baby because of the way she craned her head nearly 180 degrees while sitting in the little high chair that clipped to our kitchen table, excited to catch a glimpse of dinner as soon as she possibly could. In general, food delighted her. Her daycare provider told us she could polish off a can of beans almost by herself at 10 months. Things began appearing on my grocery list that we'd never bought before. Beans, of course, but also the ingredients for thick, creamy egg salad, fresh corn on the cob, tubs of strawberries, graham crackers. By then, the raging lactose intolerance I'd developed after my first year of marriage, goodbye tubs of tapioca pudding and egg and cheese sandwiches, finally was met with the arrival of passable, if not amazing, dairy-free cheese substitutes, which I sprinkled liberally on almost everything. By the time Ronnie was 1.5 years old, I'd started serving her all the simple meals I'd learned to make. Pasta with sautéed mushrooms, steamed broccoli, and sun-dried tomatoes, stir-fried vegetables and seitan, a faux meat I'd tried at a Chinese restaurant and hunted down at a fancy health food store, frozen macaroni and cheese with peas mixed in, tortillas with refried beans and sautéed peppers. She loved to eat.